this is actually not just time for some real education, because we've been having that this entire episode. But here is some time for some education that involves a painting. And it's a painting about the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776, painted by the one, the only John Trumbull.
Yeah, and take a look at the broad image of this picture. This is iconic America. Yeah, and I get it. Are there any women there? No. Are there any African Americans there? No. Because you know what? Women in foreign countries, women in the nations of Africa and South America and Asia, they weren't there either. The idea that there were more enlightened places for women is a myth. The idea that brown and black-skinned peoples had access to greater levels of liberty than were being concocted in that painting, in that room, is also nonsense. So what you're seeing here is the construction of liberty and freedom, both for minorities and for women. And the fact that it wouldn't be realized fully, and maybe hasn't still be realized fully, doesn't matter. Because there was no place else in the world, perhaps in the history of the world, where the kind of constituencies progressives only want to advocate for had the kind of rights and responsibilities that they were being given them in that room, however long it took to mature.
And so John Trumbull actually did this painting. It wasn't done even in 1778. It was done, he was commissioned to do it in 1817, and then the painting itself got placed in the U.S. Capitol in 1826, which just so happened to also be the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. And what's so interesting about this image is put in basically every elementary history book. I mean, it used to be. I don't know if it is anymore. But no one, unless you have a teacher who cares, I guess, about history, they just gloss over it. They don't even look and know what the significance of this is.
They see a bunch of white guys. That's
and
not
then they
something
move over.
They move over.
But to be fair, this is a representation. They never sat for this painting. Right. It's not like all the guys were there and then he painted it. John had to go and find likenesses of all of these characters, and it's not all of the 56 signers either. They only have 42 of them, because already that's a lot of white guys in one room, for anyone to handle. But it just signifies you have the 5 guys who did the Declaration, and it's Thomas Jefferson in the front there handing over the Declaration, and you can see it in that up close shot. Just knowing the significance of them doing that and what it must have felt like, if you really look at it, you can try to capture that emotion.
You can. And again, go back to the founding words of the Declaration that are so aptly characterized in this image. What you've got is a system of white men, yes, privileged white men, educated Christian privileged white men, who were using their privilege to give birth to a nation that was indeed conceived in liberty and dedicated to that proposition, that because everyone is created equally in the name of God, in the image of God, that even those ways we are unable to create out of whole cloth, again, there was absolutely no precedent for this. A slaveless society, a slave-free society, a society of the kind of radical equity that you begin to see in the Republic as it evolves. There was no precedent for this. Even the Roman Republic had no precedent that they could go back to see. The idea that they were going to snap their fingers while they had a war to wage against the most powerful empire the world had yet seen, that they were dealing with all sorts of threats, foreign and domestic, that they were going to take time out to somehow carve systems of social justice is juvenile to believe. They gave you the system. It's up to us to implement it. It was not their responsibility to do what had never been done before. But they put in print the possibility. They made law the necessity that it get done.